stack of like 10 to 20 M's. A really bad idea. Diamonds, it doesn't really matter at that stage, but early game, you really don't want to be running to an enemy base after picking up diamonds, especially 2 to 3 of them or even 4 of them. They can get armor protection that way. They can get armory that way. So you really don't want to be running in with diamonds. And a lot of times I've seen, you know, especially new players and like, where are the diamonds? Don't engage with them. You want to run back. You treat them like they're precious gold. Unless you are out gearing another player, you really just want to run them back to the base, especially early game. I've seen so many even experienced players, they get really gutsy and they think they can take another player that has equal items, and for all you know, they could be using kill aura, some hack, and you lose those diamonds and cost us potentially a game because you gave them diamonds. So do not run into a fight that you know you're probably going to lose with loot. Okay, you drop them into the void at a minimum, or you can tuck them away somewhere else for you to get later, especially if you have a good hiding spot. You can drop them and come back for them later. Speaking of feeding, is do not feed Airy and Barbarian. So many times players just go in and then die over and over and over thinking they're going to eventually, you know, win a fight, especially when they're going in to break beds. A lot of times Barbarians are going to hang out at their base, and especially Ares. Ares even more important than Barbarian, but Barbarian, once he gets that Rage Blade, which doesn't take that much, okay? It doesn't take that much to get it because you gain rage from damage, not from kills. Unlike Aerie gains damage from kills. So Aerie has to kill players, which, you know, makes her a little weaker than Barbarian at times, but the plus is that if Aerie is basically doing suicide runs on you, meaning she comes into your base, she maybe gets 1 or 2 kills and comes back. She's getting heavier and heavier on her damage by every kill that she makes, and it stays. So if she goes and dies, she doesn't lose that damage. Whereas Barbarian's going to lose that damage if he dies, but he can get that Rage Blade with never leaving his base, okay? So do not do suicide runs against these types of kits. So keep an eye on their kill counts as well. So if you see someone on a team that has a lot of kills, good chance they're Barbarian or Ares. So do not feed them. And when we say that, it means do not die to them, okay? But the reality is Barbarian can gain enough rage off of you from hitting you over and over and over with their bow to eventually get that, you know, diamond sword or even Rage Blade later. That's how I grow with Barbarian, as I just sit there and bow people, and, you know, I get a couple kills here and there, and then eventually I've got my diamond sword or Rage Blade pretty quickly just from bows. So huge mistake. Most players make this mistake, and that is feeding Aerie or Barbarian, especially when I'm Aerie. Next up with number 3 is not bringing enough blocks. This happens to me and every single person I know that plays the game. A lot of the times they just don't bring enough blocks, and it's not because they miscalculated all the time. A lot of the times it's just because, you know, they might have placed too many on the way, especially